Good morning. Welcome to Mississippi State University's McNair Scholars Preview Day. My name is Lindsay Shelton, and I'm here with my colleague and co-host, Mr. Tyrell Jernigan.
Good morning. Today we want to give you an overview of what MSU has to offer you as a graduate student. I am Tyrell Jernigan, and I represent the Division of Access, Diversity, and Inclusion, where we work to enhance the overall experiences of all students at Mississippi State University through programming, through services, and through leadership opportunities. I'm so excited to be with you today.
As a representative of the graduate school, it's our job to help you find your place at Mississippi State. I hope you leave today's event feeling excited about the possibilities and picturing yourself as a Bulldog. Also, don't forget to grab pens and paper so that you're prepared to jot down any notes or questions that might come up during today's event. At the end of the event, I'll be back to give you information on how to waive your application fee.
So, let's get started. Here to welcome you on behalf of the entire Mississippi State University family is our president, Dr. Mark Keenum.
Hello, I'm Mark Keenum. I'm president of Mississippi State University, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to speak to you today. Although I wish that we could be here together on our beautiful campus, Mississippi State is proud to be one of the nation's leading research and land-grant universities. This university is my very own alma mater. It has meant a great deal to me personally and professionally. It has shaped who I am, and the influence has determined the directions of my life and my career. The university allowed me to develop an early career in research, teaching, and service, and move on to become a staff member and then chief of staff to our state's senior United States Senator. From there, I became undersecretary in the U.S. Department of Agriculture. On Capitol Hill and at USDA, I regularly worked side by side with graduates from top colleges and universities from across the country and throughout the world. And you know what? I always felt that I was very well qualified to take advantage of every opportunity that came my way, because in large part of Mississippi State University. As someone who holds a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a PhD from MSU, I can say with great confidence that a Mississippi State education can take you anywhere you want to go. The lessons I learned and the experiences that I had as a graduate student on this beautiful campus are among some of the most significant moments of my life. I believe that every program of study that we offer provides our students with the essential tools they will need to excel at anything. Graduate and doctoral students at Mississippi State this very day, right now, are working with world-class researchers, scientists, and professors. They're preparing for the careers and professions of the future. I sincerely hope you'll consider Mississippi State University as you continue your own unique, special journey of lifelong learning. We offer a wide range of assistantships and endless possibilities to learn, to explore, to create, and discover. We're also very invested in the success of our students and strive to provide the resources they need to achieve their dreams. Our graduates and doctoral students thrive on the challenges and opportunities that we provide. And they feel right at home on this very friendly and welcoming campus and in our very diverse and inclusive community. Mississippi State is small enough to maintain the student-centered environment that we're famous for. But it's also large enough to offer limitless possibilities. And again, I'm not just saying that as the president, I'm saying that as a former graduate student who went on to earn a PhD in agricultural economics right here at this very special institution of higher learning. So I hope to see you on campus very soon. Until then, please stay strong and stay safe. And may God bless you all. In Hail State.
Thank you so much, Dr. Keenum. I hope that all of you all feel welcome. If you'll notice, I'm alone. My colleague Lindsay is at the TV Center with Dr. Bryan, Dr. Henry. They will now talk about the graduate school and their services.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Story Shelton, and I currently serve as the Manager of Admissions and Enrollment Management in the graduate school at Mississippi State University.
My name is Brian Henry, and I'm the Associate Dean of the Graduate School.
So today we're excited to have the opportunity to tell you what makes MSU so special. Let's start with this. Dr. Henry, why should a student consider MSU for their graduate studies?
Well, first off, Lindsay, we're part of the SEC where it just means more. Additionally, we have received the Carnegie designation for a very high research activity and the high community engagement. So we're acknowledged by our peers as being a top institution for both research and community engagement. I'd also comment that we're a fairly large institution with over 23,000 students, of which over 3,400 are graduate students.
Nice.
So we're large, we're a fairly large institution. We've got a program essentially for everyone. We have 61 different master's programs with 108 concentrations within those programs. So for example, a concentration would be in geosciences, for instance. You might get a master's degree in geosciences, but a concentration in broadcast meteorology, or a concentration in predicting the weather. So there's a home for anyone regardless of what his or her interest is. Have 35 different PhD programs with 68 different concentrations for that. And we also have an ed specialist for our teachers and administrators within education with 7 different concentrations for that.
You mentioned that we're a small, large university. With all those offerings, how do we make sure that Mississippi State doesn't feel too big to a student, that they are still feeling like this is where they need to be?
I think it always gets back to the department and the connection with individuals, whether it's their peers or their graduate coordinators or their faculty mentors. That's one of the special things we have at Mississippi State is the people that build that connection. I think it really gets back to the relationships and the people. In this role in the graduate school, I get to read the exit surveys of all the students when they graduate. And we stack up reasonably well with regards to facilities, sports teams, all the stuff that's part of a college experience and a graduate experience. But where we really excel is the people and how they care for the students, how they follow up with the students, how they help them through problems, how they guide them along and provide the leadership and direction that really makes a difference in the lives of our graduate students.
I think that's critical, and I'm glad you brought it up, because it really is about the relationships, not just in your social and peer groups, but between a student and their mentors within the department. So hearing that we offer friendly, service-oriented teachers and instructors goes a long way in contributing to the overall experience for our students, I think.
Absolutely. Lindsay, could you tell us a little bit about the application and the funding available for grad students?
Sure. I would say let's start with what steps does a prospective student need to take? It can be overwhelming, the whole idea of applying to graduate school. And so my advice is to first start by exploring what we have to offer. Don't take it at face value. You need to dig a little deeper. Explore what research is going on in the various departments and programs within the colleges that you're kind of considering. And then you need to see, is there any research or specialties taking place in areas that kind of resonate with you? Have you thought about what research you might be interested in conducting? And do we already have professors delving into that area? That's really important. Secondly, I would encourage students to set up a campus tour. There's nothing like walking on the MSU campus to really get a sense of what makes it so special. That's where you're going to feel what the culture and the atmosphere is like on a daily basis. And you can't always get that through the website. Unfortunately, not everyone is in a position to come visit at a moment's notice, and we understand that. And for those students, I would say at least participate in the virtual tours that we offer online. That would at least give you a sense of what the university looks like and feels like. When it comes time to actually applying, it's more than just filling out an online application. It's important to have researched the areas you're involved in or interested in, but it's also important to have connected with someone in those departments, right? We want you to have a name. We want you to feel like you know someone within the area that you're considering pursuing a degree in. That's all information you can also add into your statement of purpose. So think about that before you sit down to do the actual application. When you do go to submit the application, it would help you if you've already kind of got your information lined up. Some things a prospective student is going to need to apply include references. So go ahead and line up who you want to use as your references. Already check those boxes with them so that they're prepared to hear from us. Then you can easily include them in your application and you don't have to circle back to do that. You're also going to have to submit a statement of purpose, which I mentioned earlier. This is an opportunity to stand out amongst all the other people applying for that same program, and we want you to stand out. And some ways you can do that is to include information about what you've done as an undergraduate, specifically if you've participated in any other research or academic competitions. Include that in there. But then also include the name of any department representatives that you've already taken the initiative to communicate with prior to this application. That's really going to help you as your letter is going through the admissions process. You'll also have to submit transcripts, which is no surprise there. And then certain programs do require a few extra odds and ends, but those will be listed in the profile when you go to log in. So you'll be able to figure out, do I need a writing sample? Do I need any sort of test scores? Not everyone requires that, and so it's very specific to the departments. So that's the process of getting started. Once we receive that information, it's a two-step deal. We're going to review it in-house in the graduate school and make sure you've submitted everything you need. If you haven't, we're going to reach out and tell you. We won't let you slip through the cracks. Once we have that, we're going to send that information to the department that you're applying to. And we'll let you know once we've done that step too, so that you're aware of where your application is in the process, because it can be a long process sometimes. So we want you to be aware of that. Once the department has your application, they're going to review it and they will issue an admissions decision. Once we receive that information, we'll share that with you as soon as possible. And that is the admissions process. And then we are here throughout that process to assist you with questions that may come up, any concerns you might have, or if you're just unsure about something. So we really serve as a liaison between the student and the programs that they're applying to. The other thing it's important to mention is that a lot of our students are looking for funding, right? We hear that a lot, don't we? How can I get scholarships? Well, at the graduate level, it's typically referred to as a fellowship of some sort, and they come in a variety of ways. The most common is going to be the graduate assistantships. You'll hear people say, I've got a GA position. That's a graduate assistantship. Our university offers 3 types, which is extra ways that you can get plugged in. There's a graduate research assistantship, there's a graduate service assistantship, and a graduate teaching assistantship. This is exciting because it means there are more ways and more opportunities for our incoming students to find their niche and get plugged in. Now, you have to do a little bit of legwork. to do this. They're very competitive to get the graduate assistantships, but our office can help you with that too. We have an online application, both in academic affairs, where our office is housed, and in student affairs. And so there should be something out there that is of interest to you, and we want you to enjoy the graduate assistantship you have. It's supposed to be more than just a job. This is a way for you to grow, build your network and your resume so that you're really competitive when you start applying for jobs in the workforce.
What about tuition? Is that typically included in these stipends?
Great question, because it varies from institution to institution. Currently, our graduate research assistantships pay 100% of the tuition, which is phenomenal. And then our graduate teaching assistantships and graduate service assistantships, they pay 71%, which is still pretty good. Additionally, all GAs receive a stipend, so basically a paycheck of sorts, because they're working 20 hours a week in those positions. So that's really important. But there are other ways to fund your education, and those come in various forms of competitions, academic competitions within the graduate school, and we are really intentional about letting our students know what they are, when they are, so that they can be prepared for those opportunities. All right, so I've got another question for you. Let's say I've done the campus tour, I've researched the department, and I've decided MSU is where I want to spend my graduate school years. Now I've finished the admissions process and I've received my acceptance letter. I show up and I think, how do I get connected? This is a little different than being an undergraduate student. So what can a incoming graduate student do to feel connected to the university and to the department as a whole?
Good question, Ms. Lindsay. I think the students can go a variety of different directions and receive that type of connection and support. First, I think it's important to go back to the department and seek funding like we discussed. A lot of the different parts of graduate school, you can essentially be funded to go and participate with the teaching and the research like we described.
Okay.
So first off, just circling back to the funding, that's important.
Yeah.
And you build relationships at the department level with your colleagues, peers, professors, graduate coordinators. There are a lot of folks there to assist that have been there and understand that graduate school can be hard and challenging, but also rewarding with the social aspects. You can get on with people in your department, or you can go across college to an organization like the Graduate Student Association. And that's a load of fun because you meet people from across the entire campus, you meet people from other cultures, other nationalities. It's really a mixing pot of people, and we have a really wonderful time with that group. We always have food at the different events. We participate in different competitions, and we meet monthly. It's really, really a good thing with the programming and just in general being involved.
What about research opportunities and resources on campus? Most of our graduate students are involved in some sort of research once they get here and they dig their teeth in. Where do they go to get assistance with those research expectations?
There are multiple directions they can go. Their professors will often generate external funds that could be used to pay for trips off to locations far away. I've been to Canada and England in my graduate studies. These days, with the conditions being what they are, some of the funding that we provide through the graduate school through travel grants are really useful for registering for conferences or registering for virtual online events. And we also we host a series of events here that you alluded to, the 3-minute thesis, whereby graduate students come and very succinctly describe their research in a 3-minute window. So there's no room for fumbling around. It's just right at the meat of what you're doing and why, and who cares. For other, we have a graduate research symposium where we have posters and we have presentations, have really good competition among the students to see who can do the best job. and who gets funding. There are cash awards available for all of these events, so the students get pretty competitive to seek out these events and go do their very best.
That's amazing. And what about, did you mention travel grants? Is that something students can apply for?
100%. That's money from our office that we get to distribute from our graduate application fees, and we give it back to the students so that they can travel on their own to professional meetings or to virtual conferences.
That's amazing. What a great opportunity. Now, let's talk a little bit about McNair Scholars and what makes MSU the right place for them. Because these are students that are the best of the best. They really can apply to any institution in the U.S. that they want. Why should they pick Mississippi State?
That's a great question. Mississippi State is a growing institution. This past year we had a 60% increase in new graduate students coming to our institution. We're a place that people want to be. But we don't just want numbers and lots of new students. We want the very best and the very brightest. And nothing says that more loudly than the McNair Scholars Program. So we as an institution are actively seeking out these McNair Scholars, and we want to bring in very high quality students like them.
Another thing that comes to mind about McNair Scholars is the financial assistance that's available. What do you think about that?
Very much so. We put our money where our mouth is. We provide a $2,500 stipend topper to these McNair Scholars out of the graduate school. So if they come, they can seek funding at the department for a stipend that pays tuition and a monthly amount. But on top of that, we're going to add $2,500. So that's our commitment. We also employ McNair students within our graduate office, and those are some of our sharpest students that we've ever had. So we're glad to have them joining us in the graduate school.
We also waive their application fees.
That too. That's a big deal. The $60 to $80 can really add up. And I know the McNair students catch a break on that, and we don't charge them a penny.
I love that McNair Scholars are able to stack the money that they receive. That is a huge incentive for choosing Mississippi State, in my opinion.
It really is. And from the students that we've talked to in the past, it really comes down to two things to make a decision of where do you really want to go. One is money, just point blank. We're going to do what we can to make it financially worth their while to consider attending MSU. Two, just the education they get with the value for what they have to pay. And then the cohort, the group of people that they're with. We're going to do everything in our power with programming and meals and speakers and events. We're going to get all of that taken care of so that this group of McNair students that do attend Mississippi State will know a group of high-achieving, outstanding students that they can be buddies with also.
I can't imagine why they would choose anywhere else.
Me either.
Hail State.
Hail State.
Thank you so much, Dr. Henry and Lindsay. Now you at home have an opportunity to participate. I'll pass the camera to Draylon Julks with our graduate student panel.
Thanks, Tyrell. My name is Draylon Julks, and I'm a first-year graduate student here at Mississippi State University, pursuing my master's degree in educational leadership with a concentration in student affairs and higher education. I am so excited to be here today with today's awesome panelists. I will let each of them introduce themselves, and then we will begin with a couple of questions. Please feel free to add or ask any questions throughout our panel. Make sure you do it, though, through the Q&A box, not through the chat box on your WebEx function. So go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Good morning. My name's Fernando Paredes. I am a second-year school psychology PhD student, and I'm also a McNair Scholar here at Mississippi State University.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alexis Jackson, and I'm also a second year. I'm in the Clinical Mental Health and Counselor Education PhD program, and I've been a McNair Scholar since 2017.
Good morning. My name is Chandrea Stallworth. I'm a fifth-year PhD candidate here studying weed physiology in the Plant and Soil Science Department. I'm active with the campus through Manners, which is our Minorities in Ag, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Torian Beard. I am a first-year graduate student in the chemistry department. I'm not really active on campus, but seeing as this is my first semester, I look into getting into some things.
Awesome. So we'll go ahead and begin with our first question. First of all, I just want you all to speak to your experience as a graduate student here at Mississippi State.
I guess since I'm the most seasoned member, I will start us off. Being here at Mississippi State has definitely been an experience. I feel like the university has definitely prepared me for the real world. I've had a number of opportunities while being here. I'm a NASA Graduate Research Fellow, also working with the Manners Group and offering mentorship to students. So being here is just, it's really opened my eyes and really given me the real world experience that I need.
Go ahead.
I would say for me, I've had a wonderful experience here. I've received a lot of support, gotten involved a lot, participated actually with Chandrea in the 3-minute thesis competition last year where we both were finalists in that. Traveled to Puerto Rico since I've been here, presenting a lot of research, publishing, a lot of like funding from the Office of the Graduate School and things like that. So it's been a good experience.
I've also had a really positive experience. I've had really supportive faculty. Coming here in the graduate school has allowed me to develop a level of growth and maturity and develop a set of skills that I don't think I otherwise would have gained. Really unique life experiences like through our autism and developmental disability clinic on campus. So I've gotten some really rewarding, enriching experiences out of that as well.
I guess since I'm the newest one, I don't really have as much as everyone else, but I've been here for a couple months, but the department that I'm in makes me feel really at home. It's one thing about like people trying to get to know my name and get to know my face and get to know the things that I'm interested in, which makes everything all the more better. Because it's kind of tough because I'm like 6 hours away from my family, so it's different. And having that level of comfort makes everything all the more better. And so I'm excited for the next following years.
All right, awesome. So following that question, how did you manage the transition from undergrad to graduate school?
Well, I guess I'll go first on this one. It's definitely different. I feel like in undergrad, I had a lot more, I guess, leniency towards things, but grad school is more business focused and more career focused. So it's like you have to manage your time. One thing my boss always tells me, because I'm a TA in the chemistry department, one thing she always tells me is that you have to manage your time well. So trying to work on managing my time as far as getting other things that I need, also getting in the necessary alone time that I need to make sure that I'm functioning properly, because that is something that is important. You don't want to drown yourself in work. You have to have that balance of work and, self.
For me, the balance and the transition, honestly, it was a little hard for me. Like many of you, I came from a small HBCU coming into a larger institution. And of course, we know at our HBCUs, we're a tight-knit community. So then coming into this large institution where you're seeing a huge amount of diversity, it was hard to kind of figure out. I needed to find where I fit in. And thankfully, with Manners, I was able to find a group of individuals that were like-minded and be able to build off of that. Piggybacking off of what Torian said, it's a lot of time management. It does take, you have to figure out what works for you. So what might work for Torian may not work for me. I spend a lot of time in the gym, so that really does help with managing stress and being able to figure out what is needed to function throughout the week.
I I think for me, the transition was difficult as well, especially because I'm pretty far away from home too. I'm from Washington State, and so it's like coming a long way from home. So like a lot of y'all will be coming to a different state or be away from your family. So I think once you get here, finding a good support system, getting involved and things like that, even if it's, in the time of COVID, through the internet and things like that, that's really important. Joining different groups online, Facebook, Instagram, and things like that is really helpful to get to know your peers, and also, being with your cohort is really helpful for the transition.
Yeah, I also had a little bit of a difficult transition. So I'm also from the West Coast. I'm from Tucson, Arizona. So my experience was transitioning from a very large metropolitan city and a university of 30,000 people, which is more than the population of Starkville, here where Mississippi State is. So for me, I had the opposite of adjustment, coming from a big city to a small town. So that was an adjustment. And as far as developing a support system, yeah, that's super important. Be friends with people in your cohorts, or make friends outside of your program as well, right? Because for me, I know I wanted to make friends, at least one friend that wasn't in my program, because I didn't want to constantly talk about class. I didn't want to constantly only talk about graduate school, right? Those things are important, but there's also more to life than graduate school, so it's important to develop a self-care routine.
All right, awesome. Thank you for that. The next question, are the graduate courses online or in person?
For me, all of my classes are in person. But if I wanted to, I have the option to WebEx, and it's, for my program at least, it's whatever we feel most comfortable with, but in large. Oh, okay. But for our program, it's whatever we feel comfortable with. If I want to WebEx, I have that option. If I want to go to class in person, I can, but overall my classes are in person.
Yeah, I think it's program specific and also where you're at in your program. With COVID, a lot of classes have gone online, so a lot of my major classes are online, but since I'm in my second year, I'm also doing my practicum portion of the program at the hospital, so I do have to go in for that. That's a part of one of my courses, to work at the hospital.
For me, I'm actually at the tail end of my program. I do spend time TAing and teaching labs, so I am face-to-face with students throughout the day. And then, of course, coming on campus to get writing done. Throughout my time here, I've had a mix of courses. So a lot of my courses have been hybrid-based, so maybe like homework online, recorded lectures that if the professor's out of office. But for the most part, we do a lot of face-to-face just because I am in a hard science.
So I kind of have that mix too. My classes give me the option of going in person or watching through WebEx, but that's specifically for my classes. When I TA labs, they're all in person, but they have so we have a group A and a group B. So group A might come in this week, and then group B will have a lab online, and then it just alternates. So that's kind of what the system that they've been working with. So it kind of just cuts the classes in half, but they kind of give you the option of whichever you want to do.
All right, awesome. So how do you get involved at Mississippi State outside of your research and academic assignments?
So that's going to be a part of stepping outside of your comfort zone and being able to participate in different events that are happening on campus. Don't be afraid to show up. Right now with COVID, a lot of the events are online. But you are still able to interact with individuals. They make great use of using breakout rooms and small groups, kind of similar to how classes are, the A groups and B groups. There are a number of organizations on campus for you to get involved in. Like Alexis mentioned, she and I both did the 3-minute thesis, and through that, we were actually able to develop, relationships with individuals outside, because it was an experience that if you've never had to stand in front of a large group of people and talk about your research for 3 minutes, you'll start to bond with people, because you know that if you've been doing research for 4 years, it's hard to condense that down to 3 minutes. So you kind of end up having this type of camaraderie that you end up developing not only with your cohort, but even in your building, my building houses, I think 3 or 4 different degree programs. So even though we're in the same building, we're not doing the same thing. So it's a lot easier now, I guess, to get involved with the way that things are going.
Awesome. Moving on to the next question. With MSU being a predominantly white institution, what are your experiences like as a student of color on a campus in the South?
I think that the school has done a great job of supporting me personally as an African American woman, and I've seen them support others as well. They offer a lot of like funding and support and things like that, but also there's a great community and people that you see that look like you and who you can converse with about these different experiences. I recently won a scholarship or a scholars program and fellowship that is directly designated for students of color and things like that. And that's through the SRB scholarship program. And so there's these different opportunities that you have as a student of color, but there's also students who you find that look like you, who have similar experiences as you, who you can talk about those things, and especially McNair scholars.
For me, the support has been, almost overwhelming. You guys heard from Dr. Brian Henry, and it's just, it's great to be able to share this. But not only does Dr. Henry know me because we shared the same department, I first connected with him during my visit to campus, and throughout my time on campus, he goes above and beyond, and he sends an email and just checks in. I got one this week, and he was asking, hey, he supported the Manners organization and purchased some ribs. And then he wanted to ask how my semester's going, making sure that I'm still on track to get out of here in May. So just having those direct connections with individuals on campus, I don't know anywhere else where you would be able to say, I know the dean of the graduate school. I can go over to BOST and talk to the associate dean for the College of Ag. And being able to have those high-touch moments with individuals that are higher up, it makes them normal. And it makes you feel, even though we're in grad school, a lot of what we do, we end up interacting with our colleagues. These are our future colleagues in our department. And for them to treat us as such makes us feel more at home. I won't say that it's always like that, but for the majority of the time, if I didn't like it here, I wouldn't be here. And for me to be going into my 5th year, I'm kind of sad about leaving because I've had so much fun, and just seeing how the diversity has increased and how the programs have changed, the opportunities for students of color. I was discouraged to apply for my NASA fellowship. And I went ahead and did it because of the support from my department, and here I am. I got that fellowship, and I thought it was just for people who were in engineering. So without that push and from the support from people around me, I really wouldn't be here.
All right, awesome. Moving on to the next question, a little bit more lighthearted. What do you like best about living in Mississippi?
The cost of living. I say that jokingly, but I was in Auburn for my master's, and I had a certain fellowship that had a certain amount of funds, and when Mississippi State came to recruit me, I was very much honest with them. I did not need to make that same amount of money if I was more comfortable and if it was more cost efficient. I came here and rent is almost half the price that it is in Auburn, Alabama. We might not have, these big restaurants and things of that nature, but we do have a mom and pop feel that when you walk into these restaurants and you become a regular, they know you. And that feels good. And I didn't get that when I was in Auburn. So just being able to live and exist and not kind of live paycheck to paycheck is one of the great things about living here.
All right, awesome. Moving on to the next question. As a first or second year graduate student, can you share how your class schedule looks for a week?
For me, it varies every semester. So for me, this semester, the bulk of my classes are on Mondays and Tuesdays. So on Monday when I leave my graduate assistantship, I'm in class basically from about 3 to 8:30. Not one class, but they're 2 classes. And then Tuesday I just have one class from 2 to about 5 o'clock. So it varies every semester, and it varies by your program and your department. So just don't expect to have the same schedule every semester, every year.
Yeah, I think every semester has been very different. My first semester, it kind of felt like undergrad because I was like taking a class every day, and the classes weren't as long each day. They were a couple hours long. But then when I got into my second semester, they were a little bit longer, like 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 40 minutes. You get a little break in between. And I think I had 4 classes a week, 4 days where I went to class. This semester, in my practicum semester, I go to the hospital 2 days a week. I have my grad assistantship that I go throughout the week. And then I have class 3 days a week. So you do get some downtime, but during that downtime, you still do have to do homework.
Being in the hard sciences, it's a little different for us. Our professors don't like to keep us all day because they expect us to research. That is another great thing about being here at Mississippi State. For my program to receive a PhD, you only need 24 hours beyond classroom hours beyond your bachelor's degree. The remainder of your credit hours do come from research. So for our semester, we really stick to only having 9 hours a semester. That usually equates to about 2 classes and research hours for us. And then a lot of times those classes we really stick to, we only have classes for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. And our classes, with the exception of labs, those classes that have labs, most classes are over usually before lunchtime. And it's just because they've kind of set it up so that we can spend as much time in the lab or in the field and not have to be confined to nighttime hours or things of that nature.
So for me, my first semester has been kind of busy. And it's mostly because I'm taking a bunch of like perspectives classes, I guess that's what you can call them. So I have like a professional chemistry class, which basically teaches me how to be a professional chemist. So teaching me how to read papers and do research and make sure that I don't plagiarize or anything like that. I have another research class. I have, Mondays are really my busy days because I have class at 8 and then I have to work, TA lab at 11, and then I have class at 2, and I have another class at 4, and then so Mondays are a bit busy, and then throughout the week it gets a little bit easier because Monday and Wednesday and Friday are different. I only have 1 class on Wednesday and Friday, whereas on Monday I have 4 or 5, as well as teaching and starting to get into research. So it's just kind of getting me set in for everything. I haven't really made my class schedule for the next semester, so I'm not sure how it's going to be. So, but yeah, for this semester, it's been a bit different. And it's a thing where I only have 9 hours, so it's probably like two 2-hour classes. 2 3-hour classes, and then my research, which will take up my course load because I have to be a full-time student each semester.
All right, awesome. Is there a graduate school support system in place to assist McNair scholars?
Absolutely. You guys are looking at it right now. I think a number of us have benefited from the McNair Scholar Program. Myself, I wasn't a McNair Scholar, but thank you to Tyrell, my first year here. He pulled me in. He was like, hey, I need you to talk to these students because, like I said, I came from an HBCU, so it's a different type of support that's needed for students who come from smaller institutions. And a lot of research has found that letting those students interact with people like us makes that transition a lot easier. So that support comes from building your support system now and making sure that you connect with us. I believe we're all on Instagram. So then we become a resource for you if you have any questions about the program. A number of us are connected outside of our departments, and if we don't have the answer, we know somebody who can get you that answer.
Yeah, the Office of the Graduate School does a great job of supporting McNair Scholars. They have all types of events for us and scholarship opportunities. When you come here, you'll have the opportunity to receive a fellowship through the McNair Scholarship Program. We have the McNair Scholars Preview Day. You'll come in and that'll kind of be like your cohort. This summer I had the opportunity to just host very casual meetings weekly with the McNair Scholars. When you get on a research team and you see other McNair Scholars, you all will be able to have that sense of community as well. And yeah, there's just so many opportunities to feel supported as a McNair Scholar. People really, really enjoy McNair Scholars. They trust McNair Scholars. They know that we're here to do an excellent job. So people really love to support McNair Scholars here.
All right, awesome. So what professional development opportunities exist for diverse graduate students?
For me, Manners, it's minorities in ag, natural resources, and related sciences is my go-to for diversity. As the name says, you can see that we encompass a number of majors, not just minority as it pertains to your skin color. I study weed science. There are not a lot of minority women studying weed science. So being able to find a organization that is able to place me in front of other individuals that look like me or have experience in the areas that I've been in. Additionally, we have OID, which is our Office of Inclusion and Diversity, and with them, you can kind of walk into the office and let them know what you want to do, and they will find an organization for you to attend. So there are a number of opportunities for us here.
Yeah, I kind of touched on this earlier, but recently I became a part of a fellowship program, and it's the Dr. Harold Greer Scholarship Program. And it's a scholars program, but it also comes with a fellowship. And so you have funding for tuition and things like that, support from your graduate assistant program, and then also just a network of other scholars and PhD students who are interested in research, different workshops that help you to get through, like about teaching, about how to navigate grad school. So there's a lot of support for students of color.
All right, awesome. So moving on to the next question. Considering graduate school requirements and demands, is it hard to work full-time while taking courses and meeting graduate school demands?
Yes.
Yes. It definitely is. You've heard us all talk about what the course load looks like for us. While it is different, you still have to keep in mind that as an undergrad, I want to say that they told us for every credit hour that we were taking, we needed to study an hour. And so it's more rigorous in graduate school because you're an independent student in the sense that you've learned everything in undergrad. Your advisor is there to guide you, and for us working in the lab, those are our direct contacts. So it's learning that instead of going directly to your advisor, see if somebody else has the answer, but a lot of times we're figuring it out. We develop our own research programs, so it's a reason why we're doing that research. No one knows the answer, and we're trying to figure it out. And it takes a lot of time to do that. Again, it's the time management. It's the not being afraid to step out of your comfort zone, but one thing that we've mentioned too is with Mississippi, they do set us up with a number of funds. It's affordable to be here. I know when I started my master's, I would hear students talk about making $13,000, in a year. And thankfully, from the graduate students that I've spoken to, and we have a large amount of graduate students here, we wouldn't be able to exist if we didn't have those funds. So they really do try to make sure that we make enough that we don't need to secure a job or a full-time job. Now, it's different for everyone, but if you ask the right questions, you can pretty much, set yourself up to be able to focus on school, because that's what you're here for.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for that. How did you all find your graduate assistantships?
It works different for every program, but for mine, it was assigned to me when I first came here. And for my program, our assistantships generally change every year, and nobody in my program has the same assistantship as everybody else. Like this semester I work for disability support services. Some people in our program, their assistantship is working in schools here in Mississippi and doing, academic stuff. Some people in my program work at the autism clinic on campus, and that covers their tuition and a monthly stipend. So for our program, it depends, but my faculty, they try to make sure that we don't have the same assistantship like every year just to get more unique experiences.
It's a little different on this side. Our funding usually comes from grants that have been written by our professors, and within those grants, they determine how many students they need. And they pretty much plan, if it's a master's program, your funding is usually good for 2 years. If it's a PhD program, that funding can be good anywhere from 2 to 5 years. Additionally, it's all about networking. My funding actually is a little different because a lot of students are funded through the department. My funding actually comes through our extension service. And what that does is there's a foundation of individuals who set up scholarships and donate. And sometimes these funds are allocated for diversity. Sometimes they're allocated for women. And then additionally, through the College of Ag, we also have an online scholarship portal that we are able to, once a year, we just submit one application, and that is basically blasted to all of the scholarships in the College of Ag. And if you apply, you get the funds. It's also, just don't be afraid to hear no, or don't let no stop you. Keep going. There are funds out there for everyone, and if you find your own funding, you get to stay around a little bit longer and kind of I don't want to say make your own rules, but your funds get you in doors that normally wouldn't be open. So look for your own funds, but again, reach out to diversity and inclusion, reach out to those department heads. There are a number of opportunities that no one should have to pay for getting a graduate school degree.
All right, awesome. So with the funding, do you need to pay anything out of pocket?
I think I pay $50 and for my parking. A lot of people don't know that you can actually negotiate your graduate assistantship. There are some hard lines there, but if there's something that you need, it can be taken care of. A lot of graduate students don't pay for health insurance. It's covered for us. That's a very big and important expense that the university takes care of. So like I said, $50 in a parking pass for tuition that's $20,000 plus. I'll take that at any time.
In the Office of the Graduate School, that's actually where I have my assistantship, is the Office of the Graduate School, and I work in the business office and handle those different types of tuition remission and things like that. And so if you're interested, you can go on to the graduate assistantship website for Mississippi State, and you can see the different types of assistantships that are offered. You can get like 100% for graduate teaching assistantship or research assistantship, but then you can do like a service assistantship where your requirements will be a little bit different, and you would get 71% tuition remission. So it just depends. Originally, before I got my fellowship, I was paying about $1,200 a semester and that's because the other 71% was covered by the grad school as well as my out-of-state tuition. But now that I have my fellowship, that's covered. So it just kind of depends on where you go and where you get the funding from.
All right, awesome. What tips or techniques to succeed would you like to share with incoming graduate students?
Have fun. You should like what you do. Like, if you're going to research something, you should do it because you're very interested, because you can sit and like watch a documentary on it because you care more about it than you care about, kind of the grades. Grades are super important and things like that, but you should also love what you do. If you get a B in something because you were trying very, very, very hard to do the best that you can do and you loved it, that's just as great as getting an A and just hating something. So I would say love what you do, enjoy it, have a great time.
I would say just be okay with being uncomfortable. That is one of the biggest things that graduate school will teach you. It's all about adversity. If everyone could have a graduate school degree, everyone would have one. If it was easy, everyone would have one. And there's a reason why we have to work so hard. So don't get discouraged. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I will be honest with you, that's something that I've struggled with over the years, and this semester has been really humbling because I need that help. And make friends. Step out of that comfort zone and connect with people who look like you and those who don't look like you, because they really do keep you balanced.
I would say pay attention to the signs. Like, if you notice that there's things that you would normally do that you're not really doing anymore, maybe it's becoming a problem. Maybe you're starting to overwork yourself, or you're starting to take on much more than you can handle. Sometimes you have to take a step back and realize that there's other places, or there's other things that your attention needs to go to. Don't come in and work yourself into the ground, because then there'll be really nothing of your personality. So you have to be yourself regardless of however or whatever you do in grad school. So just make sure you're paying attention, that you're staying healthy.
Yeah, just take care of yourself in general. Graduate school is going to be difficult and challenging, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy yourself. You can't live your life. You still should enjoy and live your life, even if you are in graduate school.
All right, awesome. So this is probably going to be one of our last questions. Where would you choose, or where do you go to choose what research projects that you all want to be a part of?
So for the chemistry department, they kind of have like a shop style. So the professors come and they'll present their research, and then they'll be like, well, if you guys have any questions, email us, stop by the lab, come talk to us further. So we did that for about 2 months. So started in August and September, each professor within the department came and they presented their research. And you have in material sciences, you have organic chemists, you have biochemists. So everybody came and they were like, look, this is what we're doing. If you're interested in it, we can talk about it and see where you fit into our project, or we might have a project that we can get started through it. But I know that's just for my department specifically. I'm not really sure how everyone else's goes.
For my department, I had to give a presentation and talk to 8 to 10 different people over the course of a visit, just to see, they wanted to see what my thought process was. It was a very intensive but light interview, just to see what would fit. So again, being able to hear about the research opportunities and what was being done in the lab, but also giving my input about what I would bring to the lab is how I was able to find my research project.
For me, my faculty advisor, Dr. Luby, she pretty much organizes our research group for us, and we kind of have free will to say what it is that our research interests are, and things like that, and then kind of get together with other colleagues and do the research that you're most interested in. And one opportunity that I had was to be first author on an article about breast cancer, because that was something that it was something that people were looking for research to be done in, but also because I was interested in that. So, I mean, it just depends.
Yeah, my program, our faculty sort of give us a lot of independence in terms of what we want to do. So I'm in the school psychology PhD program, and our field is really broad. Anything related to mental health and academics, if you can tie it in between and you're interested in it, faculty will generally support you. So for our program, it's whatever you decide you want to do research in, the faculty will try to help you out with that.
Awesome. So that brings us to the end of our panel. Thank you so much to our panelists for taking time out of their day to just come and talk to you all prospective students. And now we'll pass it to Lindsay to introduce our next sessions.
Thank you so much for your amazing questions. I hope you gained a lot of information from our panelists, and I want to thank them for being a part of this session as well. Now it's time to give you an overview of the various student services that we offer at Mississippi State. So with that, let's go over to Tyrell, who's now at the Mitchell Memorial Library talking with Dr. Lee.
Thank you, Lindsay. I'm here with Dr. Deborah Lee, Professor and Associate Dean for Public Services. Dr. Lee, will you talk to us about some resources that are available to graduate students in the MSU libraries?
Mississippi State University Libraries has a wide array of resources and services available to our students. We have over $3 million worth of resources, electronic journals and databases, ebooks that are available. And we also realize that sometimes students are going to need things that are not located on the shelf. So we have an interlibrary loan service that lets you tap into literally a world's worth of resources.
Okay. Well, so you talked about services. Can you elaborate on a few of the services that our library offers?
We have a host of research services librarians that are in different subject areas that are designed to work one-on-one with our graduate students. So whether they're looking for just a general introduction to resources, or they're at that thesis and dissertation stage and they're working on their literature review, we have folks that can work with them and help them succeed in finding the materials that they need.
Okay. And so as a graduate student, there are several things that we think about the library. What are some misconceptions that you've heard about the MSU libraries or libraries in general?
Libraries are not just about books anymore. We have a host of different technologies and resources that we tap into to help our students succeed in the full array of activities they're trying to accomplish as graduate students. For example, our MaxSouth Digital Media Center has a makerspace available to our students so they can learn things from everything from sewing to how to use a 3D printer. We have a TV studio that allows students to record presentations or podcasts. We also have a VR a mixed reality lab where students can learn to use the most cutting edge tools to explore their topics.
And also our library is a presidential library. Can you elaborate on our presidential library?
We are one of 6 universities across the United States that houses a presidential library. We are the home of the Ulysses S. Grant Presidential Library. And so it's a wonderful resource to bring any visitors to explore how this great president interacted with Mississippi history.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. And now we will pass it to Dr. Hyatt and Rashida Forbes.
Thanks so much, Tyrell. I'm Regina Hyatt, Vice President for Student Affairs at Mississippi State University, and it's my honor to welcome you. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the Division of Student Affairs. Our division encompasses 23 organizations, programs, and departments that are focused on student engagement and student life, student success, student safety, and student health and well-being. You'll learn more specifically about student health and well-being later on in today's presentation. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some opportunities for engagement as graduate students. Importantly, I want to encourage you to join the Graduate Student Association. In addition, there are numerous other student organizations on campus that are graduate student focused. Every organization and activity that we have on campus is for you as a graduate student as well. So never hesitate to reach out, to attend a campus event, to go to all of the many places that we have available on campus to provide assistance and help for you as a graduate student. Please join us in some of our wonderful dining facilities that we have around campus. And importantly, know that your success, personal success, career success, and academic goals are important to us. So please utilize the resources that you're learning about today. Importantly, Mississippi State is your new home. So we hope that you enjoy our beautiful campus. If there's ever anything that we can do to help you find your place here, please let us know. It's my honor today to turn this over to my colleague, Rashida Bodie Forbes, our Vice President for Access, Diversity, and Inclusion. Rashida?
Thank you, Dr. Hyatt. Again, my name is Rashida Forbes, and I am so glad to be able to welcome you and tell you a little bit about diversity, inclusion, access here at Mississippi State University. Here at Mississippi State University, we have the Holmes Cultural Diversity Center, which is located on the second floor of the Covert Student Union. We want you to come join us within the center. We have a lounge area where you can hang out, or you can use this place as an opportunity to study. We have a TV, and we have lots of food, because we have found if we feed you, you will come. So come join us for refreshments and get to know the staff within the center. We also have our Office of Institutional Diversity and Inclusion, which is really meant to be a support system for you as a graduate assistant or a graduate student. From our National Center for Faculty Development and Diversity which gives you the opportunity to learn about the scholarly research that exists here and get productive in the writing goals that you might have. With our SRB Scholars Program that provides an opportunity for networking with other graduate students. And the socials that we have that allows you to build connections with our faculty, our staff, and our students here at the university. Again, like Dr. Hyatt said, we really want you to be successful here, and it begins with making connections and getting plugged in. So now we're gonna turn it over to Draylon, who's gonna tell you a little bit about what we have to offer here at Mississippi State.
Thank you so much to Dr. Hyatt and Ms. Rashida Bayer-Forbes for all that awesome information. My name is Draylon. I'm a first-year master's student here at Mississippi State, and I'm also a graduate assistant within the Holmes Cultural Diversity Center. And today I'm sitting here with Dr. Jeremy Bam, our Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs, and I'm going to ask him a little bit about what he does here at the university. So Dr. Bam, what resources do you offer here within your department in Student Affairs?
Sure. So I work with most of the health and wellness areas in the Student Affairs Division. So some of the services that would be applicable for our grad students are our health center. So we have 5 physicians on staff. The students can go in and see them. They just make an appointment. They can do, whether they're feeling sick, whether they just need a general wellness check. We have a physical therapy, a physical therapist within the health center as well. We have a full service pharmacy. We can do x-rays. We have a lab where you can do most of your lab work. We have a shot room, so if you take allergy shots or any other regular shots, that can all be provided for you in the health center. So we also have a counseling center on campus. The counseling center is free for all students. You make an appointment, you'll be able to see a licensed professional counselor. As part of the health center, we also provide psychiatric services. So we have a psychiatrist and a psychiatric nurse that are available for whether it's medication management or if it's an emergency situation. We also have the Office of Disability Support Services. So in that office, if you have a documented disability, you provide your documentation, they will communicate with your faculty about appropriate accommodations. And that's something that you can work out with our staff over in Disability Support Services. So if you have something that you're used to, so in your undergraduate institution, you're provided extra time for tests, you'll most likely get a very similar accommodation in grad school. We also have the University Recreation, which is housed in the Sanderson Center. So they have a full-service gym, they have a weight room, multiple basketball courts, as well as an aquatics area for the swimming, the water aerobics, anything like that.
Awesome, that is so cool. So I know that usually sometimes at certain universities that will cost a little bit more money. So do graduate students have to pay a fee for access to any of these awesome resources?
They don't. Full-time graduate students are provided those services absolutely for free. The only thing you might have to pay for if you visit the health center and you have to get labs done, you have to get x-rays taken, or you have to get a prescription, those things would cost money either out of pocket or be covered by your insurance.
Do graduate students have access to health care here at Mississippi State University?
They do. So health insurance, there's a student health insurance plan that's provided through the IHL institutions of Mississippi. So you go to the health center website, you'll be able to find more information about costs, about the way you apply, and about coverages.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be a part of this interview. And now we're going to go ahead and move forward to Tyrell and Lindsay, who are going to provide some closing remarks.
Thanks, Draylon. Before we let you go, I want to give you a couple of reminders. Don't forget what you heard in our panelist session. All McNair Scholars receive a one-time $2,500 fellowship. It's applied automatically during your first semester to help you get off to a good start. Secondly, McNair Scholars are able to apply to Mississippi State without paying the application fee. If you'll check your chat box, I've shared with you the website, which is apply.grad.msstate.edu, and I've included the program code, which is McNair Bulldog. Once you enter that, you won't have to pay the application fee, and you'll only need to upload your McNair or TRIO verification forms so that we can verify your McNair status and waive the fee and push your application through to the next stage of the process.
And again, we'd like to thank each of you for participating today. Of course, we would love to have you here in person, but unfortunately, due to certain circumstances, we're here virtually, but we really appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in with us today, and we hope that you really got a good view of what Mississippi State really has to offer for you.
Absolutely, Tyrell. And don't forget, if you are interested in coming for a private one-on-one campus visit, we can help you do that.
Absolutely.
If you have questions that come up after this event, we'd be happy to answer those as well. I've included our email addresses in the chat box, but also be on the lookout for further communication from Tyrell and myself as we're going to do a follow-up with you after this event. That way you'll have an easy way to access us and get in touch. We're so glad that you were able to join us today, and we wish you nothing but the best. Hail State.
Hail State.